It rhymes with zero RB, and that's hero RB. This is the mentality in the draft that I'm going to go grab my running back in the first round. And then I'm not going to draft another running back till later. I'm going to fill in with absolute talent everywhere else. And then I'll grab a running back later in the 6th, 7th round so that I can get all my other positions filled out to the teeth. So this is a situation. It's actually a really decent situation if you're in the 1, 2, or 3 spot in the draft, because you're going to get one of those absolute beasts. And then come in the 2nd round, 3rd round, the best value is going to be at wide receiver for you, or quarterback, or tight end, where you want to take that value and not try and load up on running backs, because those other running backs that you can get, like we just said, Connor and Akers and somebody, are going to be equal in value almost to those guys at the tail end of that 2nd round. And they'll have the opportunity to be that. So you go with the hero RB, you take yourself another solid wide receiver. Then on the turn, you get yourself, one of the top quarterbacks, or you get yourself one of the top tight ends, if you haven't already done so. And now you've got 3 skill positions in your offense, and then you just build from there.
Yeah, this is another strategy I'm not particularly a fan of. I don't like waiting that long, because you never know, especially if you're in the front half, or the back half, or the front 4 picks or the back 4 picks of the draft, is there can be runs on people, and you don't want to be at the tail end of that. So if you go and get a hero running back, like last year, I didn't do this strategy because I ended up taking Elijah Mitchell in the 3rd round, but I got Christian McCaffrey at the 4th pick, and then I got Elijah Mitchell at the 3rd, and then Ramondre at the 6th. So like I was spacing them out. Like I want to go and get running backs. Like I want to go and get guys.
Yeah.
But if you're sitting there at the 3rd pick and you go run, I'm perfectly fine just getting one running back, and then you go to the 4th round or the 3rd round and it's going the other way, and you just went wide receiver, or wide receiver, tight end, or wide receiver, quarterback, whatever. You didn't go another running back. And then all of a sudden there's just a run on running backs. You have 24 picks until it's coming back to you.
Yeah.
And you are like, if 20 of those running backs are gone, you're looking at the 4th round, and you might be looking at guys like, all right, I'm getting flex plays, and you're going to be almost forced to have to go and get a player like that. Now it's very rare that you'll see like massive runs like that, but you'll see runs on like tight ends and wide receivers, but you'll see runs, especially in the 4th and 5th round, on those 2nd tier running backs. And if you're at the tail end of that, and you miss out on like the players that we just listed, for the 0 running back strategy, right?
Yeah.
If you go hero running back and you get one, and your plan is to go and get another decent running back, and you miss out on Cam Akers and Connor, you're looking at
Rashad Penny, Zach Charbonnet, Khalil Herbert,
right.
Pirine, although we do like Pirine stuff. Then you're looking at Damian Harris. You're looking at the guys who are in split backfields, or they're the 3rd down pass catching guy like a McKinnon or a Singletary, where you don't know. You're way more exposed. Way more exposed.
It's a strategy that you can use. If I'm going hero running back, I don't stick to I typically won't stick to the strategy of I'm not touching another running back until the 5th or 6th round. Like I'll go hero running back in the 1st round, and maybe go the next 2 rounds, go wide receiver, tight end. But I'm always going to go and try to get that next tier of guy. I'm going to go and try to fill my position there, because it's easier to get like a top 15 quarterback later in the draft, or go and get these receivers. Like we've talked about, there's the top 10 receivers every year. There's so much turnover, and guys you can get in the 6th to 8th round that are going to be productive. But it's difficult to get a running back down there unless there's an injury that happens, or they're a rookie that people are sleeping on.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example. So I did hero running back in 2020. I went Saquon Barkley 2nd overall in the draft. And this, like I said, this is a position that it lends better to it. And I ended up going Chris Godwin, Kenny Galladay, Keenan Allen. And then on that turn, I said, I need to get a running back. And I went with DeAndre Swift, a young rookie who I was high on. And it helped out because he had a decent season. But again, if he did not, then I'm sitting there with one big running back. Yeah, I like my 3 receivers because that was Kenny Galladay's big season with the Lions before he went to the Giants. But again, after that, you got to hope that you have another running back that you hit on. And I think if I look at what I did after that, I can't read who this running back was. I think I had Kyler Murray. I had Darrell Henderson late, Justin Jackson. I really didn't have anybody else outside of that. So I was running, I was, really thin at that point. Now I think the league's a little bit different even then from back there because you have a lot more competent running backs throughout the league a little later on. But yeah, I agree with you. You got to, and we're going to talk a little bit about draft strategy anyway on what we say, sticking to a plan or letting the draft come to you and which we like better. But, hero running back is a viable way to do it, especially in standard, if you're in those first couple picks, because the value in those second, third, fourth rounds are going to lend better to your wide receivers, in your high scoring wide receivers. Yeah. But as we always say, it's easier to find those good, solid wide receivers in the 5th, 6th, 7th round than it is to find a running back in those rounds.
Well, here's the thing. And so